Okay. Okay. Siman Reish Ches Aval also b'malacha. Were we picking it up again? Yud, right? Yeah.
Yud Tuvav.
Um. Fine. So Behema Shel Aval Hamuscharim La'achar. So let's say the Aval has animals rented out. Mutar Asaycha Lasis Behem Malacha. So the renter can do malacha, like we said yesterday. Kivin Shescharim Kind of Shanasa Aval, since it was rented out before it became an Aval. Schiras Kanya. And schiris is a kinyan. Having shel seicher. So basically, the animals belong to the renter. La'achar klois yimei haschiris asar. But meaning, let's say the rental is up during shiva, he's not allowed to rent it again. The oval, because that's a new business transaction, and business transaction is asar. Fine. Yud Aleph mutter la'ovel lekabel malacha la'asoisa achri yimei aveloi. It's mutter for a oval to be makal malacha to do after his avela. So eventually yishkov layuna, as long as he doesn't weigh it and measure it, kadershu oisa b'shar palm like he does other times. Meaning, let's say he's a tailor, so a guy can come to the shiva. I think it would probably be a little insensitive, but a guy can come to the shiva and say, "Hey, can I leave my suit over here for you to tailor after the shiva?" And that would be okay as long as he doesn't say, "Okay, let me measure you up." That would be awesome. Yud Beis, let's say the oval had stuff by the cleaners or by the tailor. Kivan Shiba Kablanos, since it's with Kablanos, meaning usually you pay a set fee. The Kibalas Malacha Kodim Shanasa Oval, and he was Makabal Malacha before he became Oval. Gamu Betzina Bebesa Shabala Malacha, and it's also Betzina, meaning nobody knows that this Malacha is being done for the Oval. Lachain Mutter Loila Soisa is mutter for him to do it. Similar to on Shabbos, that you can give your shirts into the cleaners an hour or two before Shabbos, even though the cleaners will probably clean it on Shabbos because you gave him enough time to do it, and he's doing it on his own terms and his own time. You'd give him malachas binyan shala'avel, afilai de akum ubekablanas, but to do construction on a house, even if it's a guy doing it ubekablanos, and he's contracted with makam rachak she'en Yisrael daram sham, and it's a far away place to where the Yidden don't live, aser it is aser. All right, that there it's much more chomer. Like same thing with Shabbos. Shabbos, even if you have a guy doing kablanos and he's contracted, so he's really working for himself, still on property, you're not allowed to do it. On real estate, you're not allowed to do it. And field work in somebody else doing it, also with kablanos, dahainu shu noisin lapoil schar kotzav bad kol avodas hasadeh. Meaning he has a worker, a farmhand, and he's paying him a set price. Harishu Zriu Kitzur Kedama, and he's sending him a set price for plowing, planting, harvesting, and similar things. Yesh Matirin, there are those that allow it. V'yesh Oisim, and there are those that don't allow it. Now, why would this be allowed? Because there's no Marasai in here. Because that was expected for it to be done that way. So that's why there are makilim. And the Isim say no, it's no different than anything else. Fine. Yudalid. Housework is not considered malacha. And sometimes you get this question, even though usually there's enough food rolling around Oval's houses that nobody has to cook. But bottom line is, it's mutter for a woman when she's in Oval to bake, to cook, to do housework that's necessary to Rav Masha ain't a tzarach lo also, but only the things that's not necessary it's also v'chein mishareses she'ero lo evel. Let's say the domestic help, became an oval. Even though she works in the house to get paid, she could do everything in the house. But she can't do what it doesn't need to do, except, meaning anything that she's doing just in order to earn more money is not allowed. She's not allowed to leave the house either. Just like any other aval, she's not allowed to leave the house. So this is fairly common. You have a partner in a business. He's talking about here. He's talking about a store, but there's partners, and one of them becomes an aval. Noelim chanusam. You have to lock up the store. Because he shouldn't have the shutuf. He shouldn't be doing it for hesia. But the partner can do work betzina in his house, even if it's part of the business of the partner, meaning and the partner is going to gain. And if the others adam chashuv, and everybody knows that it's his business, and meaning it's everybody knows. Let's say it's Warren Buffett's business, right? So even though this guy has a partnership in it, but if it would be Warren Buffett sitting shiva, also l'sheni lasis, then it would be also for his partner to do the work of even at home. But it's going to be a big loss. They should ask a shayla to be matter after 3 days. I'm going Baruch Frankel. Fine. Okay, so that's the dinim of a goy oval not doing malacha on when he's in avela, and there's very similar halachas to a goy doing malacha for a yid on Shabbos. Siman Reish Tes Iser Rechitza V'Sicha Nilas Asano Tasha Shamita Uboy Ches Seifim. So these are from the most common questions. At least the Rechitza and the Sicha, the washing and the anointing, are the most common questions that get asked by Avelis. So let's see. Also, Lircha, it's called Gufa Filu B'Tzainin. You're not allowed to wash your body, even the entire body, with cold, meaning not even your entire body, but even with cold. Al Panav Yod Raglov, but hands, feet, and face, B'cham and Osir, with hot water it's Osir, B'Tzainin Mutter, with cold water it's Mutter. Urchitza B'cham and Osir Kol Shloishim. Many Avelim don't know this. To take a hot shower is also the whole Shloishim, Afilu Lacha Farosh. Even just to wash his hair is not allowed. V'gam rechitzas kol haguf b'tzaynim, even to wash the whole body in the cold, imhi l'sainug, if you enjoy it, then also kol shloshim, it's also the whole 30 days. V'yisha l'tzarech hafifa shekadam tefillah, and if a woman has to do mikvah prep before tefillah, mutaras luchas b'chamin la'achar shiva, after shiva she's allowed to wash in hot water. She won't have mikvah prep during shiva because she doesn't go to the mikvah during shiva. And to wear white for the 7 clean days, that's also allowed. All right. He doesn't bring that there's any heter if you're dirty. It's very interesting. All right. I mean, he's going to bring into the next one a little bit, but it's not, meaning when you're dirty, if you're literally dirty, you're allowed to wash that off. That's not a problem. Not even on Yom Kippur. Let's say somebody slips in the mud and he's dirty.
It's probably because it's Pashat.
You think so?
Why it is bring it. Of course, if you're dirty, we're talking about bathing for pleasure.
Could be. Shulchan Aruch brings it. Okay, let's see. Yoledes shira le'evel v'hitzricha lirchatz. If you have a yoledes, she just gave birth, and she needs to wash. So mataras gam b'sei shiva. She is also allowed to bathe during shiva. Ach b'yom rishon yesh la'achmer. First day of shiva should be machmer. Emein latzara kol kach. If she doesn't have such a need. V'chein mishu istinis. Somebody who's finicky. Shem la yirchatz yitztar harbe. See, this is how you define an istinis. He's going to have a lot of pain, and it's gonna turn into a sickness, from the word chashash. He's allowed to wash. Meaning, it doesn't have to be sick mamish. Then of course he can bathe. We're talking about it's even if he becomes a mechush, right? Meaning like a headache or something minor. If that's what it's going to lead to, you're allowed to wash. Somebody who has irbuvia in his head, meaning his hair is sticky. And he could comb his hair in hot water. Gimel asal afilu kolshu. You're not allowed to smear any ointments on, even a kolshu, and mecham latainig. If the kavana is to do it for pleasure, avalim hu mecham lahavra zoima, but you're putting it on there to remove sweat, and it's mutter because mishum refuah. And same thing for refuah. And sheyesh chatat and beraisha, he's got issues with his head or dry skin, etc., etc. So then it's mutter. But otherwise, creams are also. The makeup is the big one, right? So really, the whole shloshim, women should not wear makeup, but a woman who's married is allowed to, so she doesn't become disgusting to her husband, and a girl in shidduchim. So it's interesting because that comes out that most women are allowed to put on makeup. It could be even during Shiva, but Shiva is not as passionate because if they're young and they're not in shidduchim, so they're not usually wearing makeup. If they're in shidduchim, so they could wear makeup. If they're married, they could also wear makeup. So basically, almonas, that's what it applies to. Talat misha tekfu avalov, if the avelus it gets strong, meaning sheiru leshtei avelus zu achar zu. He has two avelus, one after the other, meaning he loses he has to sit shiva one after the other. Mutar lo lirchutz b'tzan, and then he's allowed to wash in cold water after the first shiva. Fine. Hey, isur nilas asanda hu dafka b'shel or. This thing about not wearing shoes is only if they're leather. But if it's made out of clothing or gemi is like plastic, I say or I hear, I shall eat or wood, then it's mutter. It's only called a shoe. It was made out of leather, which is what we do on Yom Kippur and Tisha B'Av too. Middle shall eat and mechupa are. If you have a wood shoe and it's not lined, it's covered with leather, then that's usher. But they say orthotics are allowed. And because orthotics not really part of the shoe, it's an insert. Right? Also benilas a sandal, even though an oval can't wear shoes, right? Because all the brachas of Birchas HaShachar really are supposed to be said as you do them, right? So Asali Kotsarki is going on shoes. So how do you go make that bracha if you're not allowed to wear shoes? Yeah, we still do it because it's going on the concept. Fine. Yeledes koshalashim yom yeledas is a woman who gave birth within 30 days. Taras benilis she could wear shoes. Chen chayla umishiyesh maka baraga chayla, or somebody has a maka on his foot mipnei shatzina koshalim, because cold is difficult for them. So it's very difficult to allow these things nowadays because so many shoes are not leather. And since so many shoes are not leather, it's not that big a deal anyways to wear shoes. So it's very hard to allow somebody to wear leather shoes nowadays. Okay, we will stop there. Everybody should have a fine night and Basuras Tavis.